Alrighty, hello everybody, this is beau-hindman for massively.com. It is Wednesday, the 25th of April, 2012. So that makes it a Second Life Wednesday. Wednesday. And that means I'm going to be streaming some Second Life today, as per usual. And I'm going to be looking at some how to acquire land. I thought it'd be kind of interesting to show off, or to show, or to instruct a little bit about how you purchase some land, how you how you might go about buying your first chunk of land or whatever. A lot of people don't know, or there's a lot of free players as well. A lot of people who are really curious about land purchasing in Second Life. They think it's a lot more complicated process than it probably is. And it's really not a complicated process. It can get a little bit confusing when you get into renting and stuff like, hey, it's Droid Gamers, what do you know? Droid, aren't you supposed to be writing some awesome articles right about now? You sure do? Or are you on? You tell me you're on your lunch break, because that content doesn't write itself, buddy. Anyway, so a lot of new players or people that have come across my Second Life columns, for example, have said, man, I've always heard that it was nothing but hundreds of dollars a month and blah 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 and stuff like that. So I'm going to cover that just a little bit in today's stream. Nothing real complicated, but it's not really that complicated of a process. Before I begin, if you have any questions while I'm streaming, if you have any comments, tips, of course, that's always fine too. If I'm doing something wrong, or if there's an easier way to do something, because I've played for about 8 years, but I'm definitely no expert at Second Life. So if you have any comments or say, hey man, you can do it quicker this way, whatever, feel free to let me know in the chat room. And just holler out. Not a big deal. If you have comments, of course, later and everything like that, if you're watching this in a embedded somewhere on YouTube or something like that, or just on the Twitch channel, just email me and I'll put my email at the end of the stream there. Anyway, the Aeon keys are going fast. I don't know about that. Aeon keys, what is that about? I need to check massively. Are we doing a giveaway or something? Anyway, what was I saying? You guys always throw me off. Also, if the stream has any issues for you, if anything messes up or stops working, just give it a second, and Twitch should just restart itself, or just hit refresh. Not a big deal. And no links in the chat room if you can help it, unless it has something to do with the conversation. If it links to something like, I don't know, Mario Brothers, controversial naked photo shoot or something like that, I'll have to ban you harder than Popeye with a can of spinach or something. I don't know. So anyway, common sense kind of stuff. All right, so this is my little avatar. This is my little chunk of land. It's really small. In fact, I've got the smallest possible that you can get. Nope, we got a little audio ad going. So don't worry about that. This is the smallest piece of land that you can get. Let me just turn it down there where you can't hear it. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover, in the first kind of half of this, I'm going to cover land use fees. I'm going to cover kind of the tiers of service that you'll have, how much you'll pay per month to get access to certain amounts of land, and then in the later half, or in the second half of it or whatever, I'm going to be covering. I'll cover some renting land. Although I've covered that kind of in the past before. So what do people use for DJing in game? I have no idea. Right now, this is. In fact, that's a good question, Board. I think your name there is Board Nikos. The music that you're hearing is just a stream that is on my land. If I go to my land here real quick, you can actually go to media or sound, and you can put any audio stream in your land. So when people come across my land, they'll actually hear that stream. I can pause it up here. I can play it. I can do whatever I want. There's a lot of options with audio. I'll go over that. But yeah, it's just a stream that I got from, I think, Shoutcast or something. Delicious tea. Okay, so the first thing I probably want to cover is if you're going to buy land, and if let's just say you're going to buy some mainland land. And what I mean by the mainland is, if I go to the world map, for example, I am currently perched on the mainland. The land that was placed here from Linden Lab. Look at this. These people up here actually spelt out art gallery with their land. The map works just like Google Earth. You can actually see buildings as they go up and stuff like that. You can actually see as they're crafted. Somebody over here looked like they built one that looks like a piano. If you can see that, maybe on full screen you'd be able to. So there's a lot of different things that you can do to your land, and it'll actually reflect in the actual um, view, the world map view. So each square you see here, for example, this big yellow square right here, that's the size of one sim or one simulator or whatever you want to call it, server. So the mainland is made up of all these different servers, right? And these are, like I said, these are chunks of land that were placed here by Linden Lab. And then if we go off into the perimeter, you're going to see the servers that are all by themselves. Now those servers that are all by themselves are connected way out here on the edge and all that. Those are all chunks of land, servers, simulators, whatever you want to call them, that somebody has paid for individually. So for example, this one here, I don't even know what it's called. It's loading for some reason. Let's see here. Here's Ruby. There's a sim called Ruby. Somebody's paid for it. If it allows me to, I can actually allow for or I can actually teleport to that server. So these are all private sims. So what was I trying to say? Oh yeah, so besides the private sim, you actually can purchase land on the mainland. The reason people talk about the mainland kind of like, it's the mainland, like snotty and stuff like that, is because the mainland is known for its lag. There's not really you can't force taste. Let's just say that. So there's no real rules on what you can or cannot build. There are rules for if it's adult content, if it's general use or whatever. I always try to stay within the moderate. It goes general, moderate, and then adult. You can actually indicate in your account settings to steer you away from any adult content. I do that because while I stream, I don't want to run across some adult content while I stream and have my stream suddenly become an X-rated thing or whatever. So it just basically steers me clear of all that. So I won't even look at adult content. It'll basically, I think it'll say I won't have access to adult content. So look, somebody there built an advertisement for their entire sim is an advertisement for their games, I guess there. Okay, so buying on the mainland, the advantage of it is that it's usually a lot cheaper. And it's cheaper because, again, you can find land that was put there by the Lindens, if you want. You can actually find, for example, the chunk that I bought here, and I'll show you in the view here. I'll show you landowners. The green is going to be mine. So that chunk of land down there, I found it was actually government land, quote-unquote government land. The Linden had put it there. Either it had been sold or it had been put back in the system or whatever reason they took it back or whatever. I don't know what. There's several reasons, and they put it on the market for basically $1 Linden per meter, per square meter. So that 512 square meter chunk of land I got for 512 Linden dollars, which is nothing. It's piddly. So a lot of players, when I first started playing years ago, everybody automatically had access to a 512 chunk of land. All you had to do was make the choice to purchase it. But that later, I think they did away with that later. I haven't kept up with the land stuff as much, but they later did away with that because people were buying them, making accounts to buy them, and then selling them more expensive. Just crazy stuff. Of course, as gamers will often do. We're kind of cheating the system a little bit, and there are other reasons as well. So I found this little piece of land, and I got it for 512. So I'll show you the land use fees. Now, what you have to consider whenever, and now this does not, excuse me, this does not qualify or does not have anything to do with renting. Renting is a completely different thing, and is separate. You can rent land without having to pay any fees to Linden Lab, and I'll go over that later. But for now, let's just talk about getting a premium account and buying land. And Board has a good point there. You also get a house, which I showed a few streams back. If you go to my previous streams on Twitch TV/MassivelyTV, you can actually, with my premium account, which was the cheapest one possible at $5 a month, and I actually got it cheaper than that because I bought a special for 3 months or whatever. It was something like $3 a month. At $5 a month, I have access to 512 square meters of land as part of that. As soon as you buy a premium account, you get a free Linden home, which is on a 512 plot. It has the same amount of prims, about 117 prims, and it's free as far as it goes towards that amount, but it's a guaranteed area and all that stuff like that. So But anyway, so that's if you want to buy the minimum amount. Now I'll go over renting because renting is pretty important. And like I said, I totally recommend going back and looking up that Linden Home stream I did, because the Linden Home stream explains how Linden Homes work, because it will count towards your amount, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, so whatever tier you're at, for example, I'm at this tier right here. If you want to buy, let's say, 1,024 square meters of land, or that's 1/64th of a region, or what they call as a region is that's those squares, those sims that I was talking about, then that would cost you $8 a month. Now, if you go all the way up and you want to buy an entire square, meaning an entire, one of those entire simulators or sims, or just, it's easier to show you. See the one I'm in here right now, the one I'm in right now is this one here, Blackwater. No, this is Yoho, actually. I can actually just move out to the land here and show you one that's standing by itself. Let's see. So let's say you want a Ruby here, Ruby, the person who owns Ruby here. Look at this one. This is awesome. They put nothing on it. I love that. I would buy a sim just to have my own little house with a ton of land. And we look at Ruby here. They basically pay. Now you do have to pay, I believe, a down payment for those, but they pay $195 a month. Okay, and that gets them 65,536 square meters of land, an entire region, several, I don't even remember how many thousands, tens of thousands of prim count that it puts towards it. And those are $200 a month. I want to say it's several $100 down to own a sim, but I can't remember. But if you look at what people do with sims, like they can rent out, they can have stores on them, they can use them, and what a lot of people do is chop them up into bits and then rent out the chunks. That's how I've gotten a lot of my land in the past, by renting, and I'll cover renting, of course, at the end of the stream. You can actually make your $200 back per month pretty easily, or relatively easy, or at least cover it. But now I'm all curious, but I gotta see hopefully this guy will let me teleport. I bet he's not going to let me teleport there. Aw, look at that sim, it's just begging to go and here's one, cool, look at this. Oh, here we go, an island. Let's see if it will let me teleport to it. This will show you what some people do with their sims. Oop, let me turn off landowners. This person, an entire sim, they just built a house on it. And there's nothing really even here. They probably own several sims, and this might be just their personal experimental sim. Who knows? It might be a sandbox sim. A sim that they're using just for letting people build some stuff. Who knows? But so you see this little island here. Actually, it's a pretty big island. And if I go to the world map again, I'll show you here in just one second. That's the island. So that'll give you an idea of the size and the number. Each one of these private sims, $200 a month, and a certain amount down. I mean, look how many there are. It'll just keep zooming out and out and out and out and out. I mean, so you can see how Second Life, when people talk about Linden Lab making millions of dollars, making a really nice profit, you can see why. Look at the sims just going on and on and on and on. I haven't looked at this whole map in quite a while. I mean, look at all these. $200 a month, all these little dots. Now, that's not including the down payments. That's not including the virtual money that people are paying for, and you can buy Linden dollars. I mean, it's just insane. But these two main chunks here, three main chunks, I should say. I can't remember which one of the original mainland. It's been too long. Those chunks of land there are what they would call mainland, and that's the stuff that people are often kind of like, kind of snooty about. But generally, are really, you can find some cheap land on that. And so, let me. Every single creation does not cost 10 to upload. You can upload textures for 10 Linden dollars, but you could actually load into Second Life and spend $0 and make money, just by using free textures, whatever, all sorts of stuff. Oh, the teleport failed. Why did the teleport fail? So not every creation costs 10 to upload, only textures and some other stuff. And now I'm not able to get home, which would completely wreck the stream if I couldn't actually show you how I shop for land. There's a couple different ways how you can shop for land. In fact, I could show you through the browser. Let me give that a second here. Let's go to Second Life. Oops, put in the wrong thing. That's what I was looking at earlier. Let's go to the marketplace. if everything doesn't just not work. And I think, here we go, mainland. So let me zoom in on this for you. This is one way you can do it. You know, you can find rental homes. You can find all sorts of stuff. The marketplace is great. You can put, let's say, $11 to $100, and you know, and search for land this way. This is going to get more into renting, so I'm not going to cover this just yet. But I'll show you that in a minute. But otherwise, if I could get home, I don't know why it's not letting me teleport home. Let's see if I can just back. There we go. I was just able to go back. Alright. Where did I land? Okay, I landed on my property. Okay, this is my little skybox I've been working on, just messing around with. Let's go back down to my land and I'll show you. I could just teleport down there, but I always like falling. These people built right under me. It's so aggravating. Oh, I fell right through them. Good. Nope. There's an invisible block there I've got to remove.
About to experience the realm of the elite.
Okay, so this is my little chunk. I'll show you again.
A members-only destination and a part of the Frank's entertainment.
This is one way, the visual way that you can shop for land. You can literally fly around. You can literally. Is this a third-party client? Yes, this is a Firestorm. So you can, and as I run them around, you'll probably hear music change and stuff like that. Darn it! People have blocks on their land. I hate that. So as you roam around the land, you can literally just. The advantage of doing this, okay, if I can get past this annoying person who put up a block. There we go. The advantage of doing this, you just go to World, Show More, and then, let's not play that music. Show More, and then hit Landowners. It will actually show you the colored blocks. The red are owned pieces of land, and the yellow are going to be the stuff that's for sale. Whenever you get over a piece of land that you're interested in, you can either hit right click and go to About Land, or I can just have this shortcut here and hit About Land, and it'll tell you how much it's for sale. This is 4,906. I'm sorry, 4,096. Oh, and actually, it's just $1 1 linden per land. That provides 4,705 prim. So that's a huge chunk of land. Let's say I wanted to buy that. Now this is the important part if you go up to land, because a lot of people are scared what happens when they buy their first chunk of land. Let's say you click on it and you hit buy this land. This thing is going to pop up and it's going to break it all down. Oh, cool. Now there's the website. I love when the game has errors on me. But essentially, let's see if it'll refresh. Okay, well we'll wait a second here and I'll refresh again. It'll show you how much more money you need, how many more linden dollars you need to purchase or get. For example, it does say you need an additional 2,781 linden dollars. How much it'll make your tier go up by, and other information like that. And then it'll say purchase now. And what that does is automatically will bump up your tier of service as well. So let's say if you come across what is this, 4,096. So it would automatically bump your account up to the $25 a month or 1/16th region plan. So it's all done automatically for you. It's really not it's not hard at all to figure out. You do need to be careful though when you're reading that when you want to go and buy the land. Come on, data load. Error. We'll see if it'll come through for me. Second Life's having a lot of errors for me today. But make sure before you purchase anything that you're comfortable with the tier level of service. Just double check. So this is the visual way. You can literally just fly around Second Life. Of course, this is also the laggy way, because what you're doing is you're flying around and letting all this stuff load. So as you can see, it looks real ugly. You have this red, all these, the landowner views on, so it's real ugly and stuff like that. So this is kind of the slow, sluggish way to look, but it's unglamorous, but it works. And the advantage of doing it this way is that you're going to be able to actually just visually see the chunks of land and kind of say, oh, that looks cool. I wanted some down by the water, and you could actually click on it and and actually get an idea of what you want. Now, the next thing you can do and these are just some of the basic ways that you can actually buy land. Next thing you could do is go to the world map and literally just look for the dollar signs for the yellow chunks of land, either way. And what it's going to do is that's kind of a quicker way to do it. So So let's zoom in here a little bit. See all the dollar signs there and the yellow pieces of land? So let's say you want to buy the coast. Well, heck, let's look over here by the coast. Do we have any by the coast? This is a cool way to get some coastal land. Now, coastal land, of course, is often going to cost you more money because they're not blocked in by neighbors and stuff like that. Like, for example, this piece right here, it's showing me if you click on the dollar sign, 1536 chunks for 6,000. So let's just hit that and teleport. I'll go ahead and leave on the landowners showing land. Man, what is with the bugs today? There we go. Okay, so this should be it here. So they want, oh no, this is a huge chunk. Well, let's look at this huge chunk, might as well. Look at this big old piece here. It's massive. I mean, it goes all the way down in the water. And again, this is why you want to leave probably the view landowners, because if not, you're going to be kind of having hard, as you can see, you can have a harder time seeing where it ends. Now, you could also put world show more property lines, and that's going to give you an idea as well. If you can see the little red lines here, but it's just not real obvious. So the easiest for me is always to view, let me get that real quick, landowners, because then you can see the whole chunk. So let's say if you're interested in this chunk, for example. I mean, look at that. It's a great big piece. That's like, I don't know how big that is. Oh, there we go. It's 8,704 square meters. How you doing, chat room? Okay, so let's say I wanted to buy that. Oh my gosh, it's still erroring out. I wonder what the website will tell me. Maybe the website will tell me. Oh my gosh. It's not telling me. That is so sad. But basically, whenever you normally hit about land and you go to, or when you normally hit buy this land, this will all be filled out for you. Maybe it's the maybe it's the third party client I'm using. I don't know, but that's really frustrating. So all right. Well, anyway, normally it's going to tell you where you're. For example, if this is 8,704, then your use fee would be what? 8,704. So it'd actually be not 75. It might be $75 a month if it was 8. Yeah, 8,704 would knock it up to the $75 a month because you're in between 8,000 and 16. I don't know how that works. I guess you'd have to go up that high. If it was under 8,192, you'd be buying an eighth of a region and be $40 a month. If it's over that, up to 16,384, you'd be paying 75. So probably updating something. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's my client, this third-party client. It's very possible. I should just start the other one and try that, but now I'm in the middle of the stream and everything. So you can find pieces of land and just kind of go around and click on them. Just bear in mind, waterfront land that has linden land next to it, meaning, let's say, for example, this chunk of land had a neighbor piece that was owned by the Lindens, meaning that it would never be changed, or would it's less likely that it would be just sold to somebody. Then that would cost more because you have what they call protected land, or land that's kind of protected. Look at that, they have a sprinkler going on their grass up here. Check that out. That's cool. I love stuff like that. Even here, look at this little tiny piece of land. 160 linden dollars for 160 square meters. There we go. Finally, the thing popped up. Okay, so this will show you real quick. It'll break it all down to you. And the text in my game is put is large. I have to have my text in all my games very large. After gaming for so long and being 37 years old, my eyes aren't what they used to be. So it's just easier for me to read. But basically, it'll break it all down for you. It'll say where is it at, the size. It supports 36 objects. Now this is just this little tiny piece that I'm looking at there. It'll say how much, 160 linden dollars. Buying this land will not change my membership. So my land fees that I normally pay, my $5 a month right here, will not go up. That's what it's trying to say. It will increase my monthly land fee to $5 a month because I already have a maximum land. So even buying any more would knock me up to $5 more a month. Let's see here. And I would pay $160 for, oh, it's a government land. I didn't know that. Okay, so it was giving up land or land that was turned over. So cool. So I could actually purchase that. It would up my tier fee or whatever automatically, and there's no problems. Now that it seems to be working, I wonder if it'd work on this. Nope. Something about it. I don't know what it is. It's like player-owned land is not working, but Linden land is working. That's really odd. Okay, so that's one way to do it. To look at the world map and just kind of. This is actually one of the best ways I found, just because you get to visually, you get to kind of get an idea of what like you get to. Hey, that's not a bad spot. It's not surrounded by a bunch of junk. So you get to click on it. You'll see the price. Actually teleport to it. Check it out. So the map way is really kind of nice, just because it's just a visual thing. It's just easier to picture it in your head because it's right there. Where did that piece go? Was it right here? 125. Oh wow, that's actually dirt cheap. This piece there is actually selling for less than a Linden dollar per, so that's actually a good little thing there. So with that little piece of land, that's, for example, is a good little piece of land for somebody to start off with. If you look at it, see, so that would cost you 125 lindens and would give you 117. That's your smallest tier available right there. So if I bought that, it wouldn't change my membership. I would pay $125, but it would increase my monthly land fee because I already own 500, my maximum land fee in my tier. So see, I already own 512. That's what my land is right now. So, just keep that in mind and keep an eye on it. Now, the other way you can look for land, which of course is probably the smartest way, I don't know, it just kind of depends, is to go to search. If search is working, if it fails me again, I am not using Firestorm anymore. So you can go to, once search opens, and search is essentially like, just like Google within Second Life. That's exactly what it's meant to be, and that's exactly how it works, and it works generally pretty good. Yeah, a good point there, Gamer, that it says, he said that in the chat room that it's right behind a Meg Mall. That's why last week I covered, now I had to quit the stream a little bit early because I had been ill all week, but last week I covered building a skybox. So you could buy a little chunk of land like this for real cheap and build your house way up in the sky where you're not surrounded by a sky mall. As a matter of fact, if I can teleport home real quick, see if it'll actually work this time. My new project is this little skybox. Where's it at? It's up there for some reason. Well, I tell you what, nothing seems to be working lately. I'll go down to my land and I'll teleport up there real quick. See my piece of green land there? Alright. Whoop. Whoop. Let me get up there real quick. See, this is a little 512 piece of land as well. And yeah, you can terraform. You can see I built a little hole. Dug a hole. So, let's see here. Oops. Oh, I love this animation overrider I have, but the annoying part about it is that when you fly, it makes you do this silly stuff. Okay. Let's go to, I think it's the top. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so this is my skybox I'm building on top of that. I'm just throwing it together right now. It's not even started really. That's a tent that will kind of fade into being here in a second. So on top of that 512 land, which you can see way down there, that little green speck. In fact, if I want to turn off landowners, it'd be a little bit easier to kind of tell. And so I built my skybox right up, so I don't have anything surrounding me. It's one of the advantages of buying mainland. Buying mainland is cheap, and then you can also build in the sky, which is, as you can see, there's nothing surrounding me. I can change the view. I can change the sun position, make it nice and pretty. This is a custom client where I can make the sky blue, or I can do anything I want up here. There are a few other skyboxes you'll catch around you. Sometimes there's no stopping your neighbor from building right next door to you, even in the sky. But generally, people build at different heights. So anyway, so that's the advantage of buying just a small chunk of cheap mainland land. So then the third way that we can look, of course, is in going into the search and going to land and rentals. Now, I don't know why, but it's not loading. My gosh, this viewer is just being really, really naughty. I might sign into the standard viewer so I don't have any more problems here. But generally in search, you're going to be able to set renting or buying or whatever you want. Let's actually do that. Let's actually go here, and then we're going to go on this here. You guys get to see how I literally work. Maybe if this if Firestorm actually worked. Okay, so I'm going to load this. It's going to take a second here. This is my desktop, as you can see. It's going to get real dark here for a second. Let me blow this back up. I'm switching. How is their user base in Second Life these days? I don't know, LC. You'd have to be more specific what you mean. I'm not sure exactly what you mean. I have been playing for 8 years, basically. In fact, I think my account just turned 8 years old recently, or soon it will. I'm not sure. But anyway, I've been playing for 8 years, and it is, to be honest, it's always seemed really active to me. Second Life is not like a typical MMO where you have to, where you find yourself funneled into different areas and stuff like that. So essentially, what you have is people that go through different, you don't have the normal MMO issues with, oh man, everybody sits in that city but they don't go to that city or whatever. You don't have those same issues because it just, it's not built that way. Let me try to get it in screen here pretty good. I think we're pretty good with that. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Okay, so let's go back to search. So the user base to me has always remained really, really, really nice, really effective. Exactly, they're very, very dedicated. But it's never seemed weak or strong. I mean, it's always been about the same. Where is my search over here? That is crazy. Well, anyway, there's typically, what am I missing here? Is something messing up or something? Because I'm missing something. I'm missing all this over here. But typically you can indicate pricing and stuff like that. Well, let's go to Marketplace and I can show you it there. This is what I was showing earlier. You can indicate how much, mainland, like you can say mainland like that, general or moderate or whatever. But a lot of times what you're going to find here is going to be rental properties, which I might as well. That's probably as good a time as any to go to talk about renting or whatever. Whenever you find a chunk of land, in fact, let's just teleport to this one and see what it says. This is a way for you to actually have property without having to own a premium account, to actually pay any monthly fees to Second Life. And that's through renting. Renting is basically when somebody owns a piece of land and they decide to actually rent it out to other players. There's a lot of different ways they can do it. Tons of different ways. But generally, just think of it this way: that it's the same as owning land in real life. If I were to own a plot of land and I wanted to rent it out to people, I could actually divvy it up however I wanted to. Here we go. This is the piece that's for sale, looks like. And rent it. Now, what happens typically, and in fact, I'll just read you what this says, and it's going to load here for a second. It says, pay me to rent, click for more info, price 180 Linden dollars per week for 117 prims. Okay, so we'll click on this. Let's see here. Actually, let's read what it says. This is somebody's attempt at the, new to the rental game, who knows. Rent land, no rules from full permissions. Each 512 square meters, 180 per week. Okay, so I don't see any covenants, so let's see. Okay, so they're just selling it, looks like. Okay, cool. What typically happens, there's a lot of different ways that people will rent, but typically, for example, on the land that I had built, I was building on before, you might have seen in my earlier streams, that was rental land, and how that worked is the people divided their sim up in about 6 or 7 or 8 different blocks, and you go to the chunk of land that you want, and you actually purchase the land. In this case, I would buy this land for 1,024 Linden dollars. Okay, now that money does not go to Linden Labs. What that does, Linden Lab, that money actually goes to this player, the person who owns this. Okay, now once I buy that land, it's not mine though. in order to avoid the monthly fee, the tier fees, I'm actually going to pay them a rental price of $180 per week. Now that can vary so much. You might be able to find absolutely free land that costs $0 down, but you pay them maybe more per week or less. It just depends on the person. In the case of wanting really nice land that's really lag free, let's say on a beautiful sim. In fact, I could probably find. Let's see if I could find. What were they called? Lionheart Estates. Here we go. This would be a good example. Lionheart is a company I've used before, a rental company. I always really enjoyed them. They have nice sims generally, and then they usually also have really lag-free stuff because they enforce their sims. If they say their sim is for businesses, they allow businesses. But if they say their sim is residential, by God, it's residential. They do not allow you to put up annoying signs and stuff like that, and do all this crazy stuff that you'd be allowed to do in like a club or something like that. And the reason they enforce that is so they can charge you a little bit more. So for example, whenever I rented a residential sim from them, I bought a chunk of land from them for, let's say, the equivalent of, I don't remember what it was, like $10 or $12, whatever it was. And then each week I paid them, let's say, $2 or $3. But I never had to pay a tier fee, one of these tier fees that I was showing you earlier, to Second Life. So that's one way to avoid the tier fees and one way to own land. But you don't really own the land, you're renting it. It's kind of like the difference between owning a house and renting a house. You're not paying Linden Lab, you're paying the sim owner. Now there is, I'm sure there's safety blocks, and since we're talking about real life money here, because Linden dollars are based on real life cash, and you can actually sell them and make profit in real life and stuff like that. I'm sure there is something with, the covenants on lands are binding, so that if a sim owner was to rip you off, basically you would have some protection. So I'm not worried about that ever. How do I get around in this one here? I wonder. Let's see what it says. Sometimes it's pretty clicky. Teleport maybe? Nope. Okay. Well, that's cool. Let me see if I have any in my bag here. I think I deleted them all. Lionheart. Let's see. Where is it at? I had a cool. I got rid of a lot of them too, but Anyway, that's cool. I was basically cleaning out my inventory, and I cleaned out a lot of my landmarks. But so that's another way you can get land. You can literally rent it. So what I would recommend is if you're a new player and you wanted to actually get into your first piece of land to buy, here's some over here. I'll show you. I would actually buy first from Linden Lab. Find a nice 512 chunk of land, buy it for $1 or a Linden dollar or less per square meter. It's only going to give you 117 prims, but build you a skybox or a little house, or you can actually terraform, so you could actually dig a hole and build a cave to where you'll be kind of away from lag that way, like a little hobbit hole. There's a lot of things you can do with very minimal amounts of land in Second Life. Try it out that way first, and you're going to be paying, of course, the $5 per month premium, but that's a really small amount, and just try it out. Next step is if you're enjoying owning land but you don't really build and stuff like that, try out one of the Linden homes that come with your free account. The next step after that is to go ahead and get into buying or renting land like this, to where you're not actually paying a monthly fee, which I'll show you here real quick what this all is saying. All right. So let's say you wanted to rent land from Lionheart here, for example. Lionheart's a very cool company, very professional. They literally have chat help on their website, people who will chat with you during the day, like customer service. It's really professional, and they're really nice. And no, they're not paying me to say that. So let's say, here's all your stuff. It's going to explain to you what the covenant is, the land store, the fact sheet support. This is going to tell you how much. So for example, this piece of land here, which is, all my shortcuts are gone. That's what I don't like about the original Second Life viewer. It's just uglier. Let's see here. It's 2,080 square meters, 952 prims. Basically, you would be paying $6.69, to these people, to Lionheart. So you would set up fee of $5,304 Linden dollars. So that would be about, Let's do 5304. It'd be about $21. So you'd pay them $21 first. Okay, it includes the first week of tier for free. Okay, and then after that, your weekly tier fee would be about $6.69. But it does depend on the current what it's currently trading at. Right now, at this moment, it's $6.69 a week, or 1719 Linden dollars, 1,719 Linden dollars. So you could see it that way. So you would basically pay them $21 down, and then what's 1719? Oops. And then per week you'd pay them about $7.23, so about $7 a week. Now that seems kind of expensive, but it's a huge chunk of land. I mean, if you look at that, it's pretty big. In fact, I could show you real quick. Bloop, bloop. I mean, look at that. That's a great big piece. Now this is residential, I believe. Let's see. Oh, actually, it's commercial, so it is a commercial piece of land. So it's a commercial too. Here's all the information. See how they put it all for you? You can even click on the sign and get information. Really, really, really cool. Their little pop-ups are getting annoying though. Okay, so that's one way to do it. If you're gonna rent though, just don't get tempted by the very first thing you see, because you're gonna find so many so fast. It's gonna be it gets really ridiculous pretty quick. It really, really does. I mean, Lionheart's a good one, but there's a trillion of them out there. You can rent everything from a tiny chunk of land, all the way up to a massive piece of land. So you really have to kind of take your time. I can't tell you how many Second Life players I've known that essentially got excited by land purchases and spent, before they even knew it, spent $300 or $400 and were like, oh my gosh, where'd all my money? And they just blew all their cash. So do be careful about all that kind of thing, because you can burn through it quick. You can come up with some scheme and say, hey man, I'm gonna get me a chunk of land, and I'm gonna become a land baron or something like that, and then you're left with all this land that you can't sell. It's just like real estate in real life. You really got to be careful about that. So that's why I totally recommend the very first thing you do is get you a little 512 piece first. Man, it's this client seems a lot laggier. That's funny. Oops. Let's see if I can teleport to the top. There we go. Okay. Let's see here. Most clubs only get 30 people duplexes%. I'm not sure what you're talking about. You guys are kind of having your own conversation there, but yeah, I mean, the lag and stuff like that in Second Life is really, I have no problems with it. I mean, I'm streaming right now, on Ultra. No, not on Ultra, on the second to highest. I turn anti-aliasing off for streaming, but whenever I play it normally, I run it all the way up. Pretty much everything turned up all the way, and I get very minimal lag. So I find no problems at all. It does help though. This is why it's important to, if you're going to buy a little chunk of land, try out a skybox. If you have noisy neighbors or neighbors with tons of scripts and stuff going off and it's real laggy, just build your little house and everything on a little platform, essentially just like this below, and just drag it up in there. Now, if you watch my other stream, which was, in fact, I'll put the MV guide. Reminds me, here's the MV guide I'm going to put in the chat room. Make sure you bookmark this so you can see what we're streaming during the week. But anyway, if you look on, I'm not going to show you while I'm streaming because it'll just create a vortex of websites and we'll get sucked into it. If you look down there on more videos, you'd see my old streams covering how to actually get the skybox in the air. It was a couple streams ago, but you essentially just build it on the ground and you find a way to lift it up in the air, or you build it on the ground, save it, and then lay it down and later on your platform in the air. And then you can use textures. Like, for example, this is just one prim, but it might look like several because it's a fence, but it's literally one prim. It's just a texture. As you can see, it's just a flat texture. So texturing can do a lot. So that's another way you can do so just to kind of break it down, you can visually fly along land, turn on, go to world again, go to landowners, and literally just fly. You can fly up here if you want. You can do whatever you want. But of course, this is the laggy kind of way. This is kind of the sluggish way. You can do it in first person if you want. That way you can kind of control up and down. But this is definitely going to be a lot kind of more sluggish. You're also going to run into band lines and stuff, which band lines are very, very annoying. Basically, when people put up a line that doesn't let other people in, you'll run into like a wall, bow, 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 like that. So there's, you know, already here's all sorts of little chunks. Oh, this is a big piece actually. That's a dollar land. Oh, that's 3,700. See, that's there's another dollar land piece, which is not bad at all. But you know, if I let's say if I wanted to buy that, we'll show you what it does for that. Oh my gosh, it's still not working. Well, I would show you that if the system was working, but it would show you how much my fees would go up by and all that good stuff. So there's that way. Then there's the world map way, which is literally just scanning the world map. So, sorry, my wife is playing My Little Pony Adventure or something on her. Oh, here you go. And click on it, make sure land sale is indicated. And then there's the scanning the world map. But this way is probably my preferred way. You can use search and kind of go around and stuff like that. And that's cool. But the reason I like to use the world map so much because I can literally see, I can see the price when you click on the little dollar. This is, you know, 50,000 Linden dollars for this huge piece here. I can see that it's on a river. Oh, that's cool. That's what I was looking for. I can teleport to it. I can see if it's snowy land. I can also literally see the objects in the world map that are built around it. So if it looks like a really noisy area, I'm not going to bother with it. But like if you look at these other, there's a big open area here. There might be something that's kind of lag free. See how this doesn't have much built around it. So you know the world map option is actually kind of cool because you can literally not only visualize how big the land is, but you can also see where it's at. See, there's the river. Turn it off. Let's see. See a nice big river next to you. So you could literally terraform this to form your own. Basically, it's so large you could dig out and make an underground river. So you can do all sorts of neat stuff. You see. But that's why the world map I kind of prefer because it's all visual, so you can visualize everything you need to. Okay, and then the last way is, or another way is to search. You know, doing a search for, let's say, here we go, land and rentals. So you can say, we can go to for rent, or we can go to for sale. Area, let's say 512 to 512. Go. Let's do 0 to 512, I guess. Here we go. Man, the system is just not working really good today, is it? Price, let's do 1 to 1,000, I guess. I don't know. Oh, it still says Lionheart up here. That's why. There we go. Okay. Let's do 512 to 512. Price 1 to, let's say 1,000. Go. Look at that. It keeps putting Lionheart in there. Look at that. Okay. That is annoying. Okay, so 512 to 512. Let's see if we can. Now I just want this to work now. 1,000 for sale. All listings. Go. There we go. So you'll see the price. You can list it by price if you want. Now, if you're gonna see, usually if you see it for $1, it's a rental piece of land. So you got to be aware of that. So let's say you've got. Let's just be more specific. Let's go here. Let's reset it real quick. Let's say you want $1 piece of land, or $1 Linden dollar per square meter. Price 1 to 512. Go. All right. Here's one for 175. So let's teleport. The gamer, me. You guys need some chat names that are easier to kind of say. I don't have a really powerful computer. I really don't. It's some old triple core gateway with like a 9800. I've got 8 gigs of RAM in it. I've got a basic sound card, a little XLI, or I'm sorry, what is it called? Anyway, creative sound card in it. And it really doesn't, I mean, when I'm not streaming, and you can see right now, I'm pretty lag free. Now this is, the loading you're not going to get away from. The loading is going to happen to somebody with the best PC in the world is still going to have some loading times because that's based on how fast your network is pumping out and stuff like that. And I have really good internet. So you're always going to have some loading times like that. Of course, it's a little dependent on your computer as well. or it's about half and half. But you don't really need a big gaming PC to run Second Life. The only thing you would want to do is maybe you could turn down the view distance a little bit to keep out some of that stuff, and you can do all that really easy. Just go to Preferences, Graphics. Where's my view distance? See, my draw distance is already turned down pretty far, but if I turn it even farther down, it's going to even take less time to load everything. So it's really not hard to run Second Life. So don't let that scare you off. If you have a computer right now that can run, City Heroes and other games and stuff like that, try it. Just go try out Second Life. It's free. Okay, so let's see where that one was at. There we go. So here's a little chunk of land. Look at this. People built a giant ugly wall. It's a perfect skybox candidate. They want $175 for this 512 meter land. So you would actually, your first piece of land would be nothing. It would cost you almost anything. Let's just make sure though there's no covenant, so it's not a rental thing or anything like that, and it holds 117 objects. So you could actually get your first piece of land right there for really, really cheap, and then build you a skybox way up here. So look at this ugly stuff. Sometimes your neighbors just are ugly neighbors. They probably are selling that because of the neighbors. Who knows? It's hard to say. But either way, you can take advantage of that, and the search is a really good way to do that. So I can see I just searched and listed it by price, and I'm literally looking at. Now, like I said, be wary when it's like $1, $49, stuff like that, because that's usually a rental. If you're into renting, that's cool. But then just go over here and look for rent. It'd probably be easier, or just fly around, or just do search for rentals and stuff like that. So, but anyway, so that's another way to do it. The search, and then the last way was the marketplace, or one of the other ways was the marketplace. The marketplace is a little odd, though. I'm noticing that it's not really, I mean, like, here's a bare platform for rent. I'm curious about this now. Build your dream home. A 60 by 60 platform. The thing is you should be able to see it in land, usually it'll have a link to view the item in Second Life, and I'm not seeing that. So that's a little bit weird. Let's see if we can find one here. This is all rental stuff, so, here we go. See item in Second Life. This is what's fantastic about Second Life. You can give people an SL URL, Second Life URL, and it basically literally links you to almost a Google Earth, and you can see it down here in the bottom left-hand corner, powered by Google. So, and you just click teleport now, and it's going to launch the person's Second Life. And if it's already launched, and it's just going to, as it pops up here, teleport. So if you do go to the marketplace, make sure they have that little indicator there. Excuse me. Excuse me. See item in Second Life. Look for that, because then you can actually literally go see the item. And what they probably teleported me to was, let's see, Sun, use region settings, was probably their store. Let's see. Yeah, see all these signs? They all say rented, 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 rented. So this is their land store. Yeah, well, that's true, Bill MCD. Chat names. Build your dream home on a rental property, increase its value for someone else at your own cost is genius. It's absolutely true, but the thing is when you rent, whatever you build on that rental property is yours. They don't keep that. So you can build, like I could have built a house that looks like this, and took it with me. You're not exactly doing anything to the property except living on it. And it's actually saving you from tier fees. So, but you do need to be, that's a kind of a good point, that you do need to be aware of rentals that are too expensive. They're charging, just what I would do is just check the market, spread it around. The thing is about Second Life, Bill MacD, oh, there you go, okay. But the thing is about Second Life is there's so much land and so much competition. It's easy to rip people off, sure, but it's really easy to not be ripped off because the market is so active. I mean, I'm not sure how many, hundreds of thousands, active players they have or whatever, but it's obviously a lot because there are tons and tons. There's just, I don't care if it's 3 people, there's a lot of action. But let's say if you go to a land store like this and you want to rent it, you should be able to click this thing here and keep a landmark. And see, this is annoying. It should just pop up. I wish it would just pop up. So now it's going to teleport me to that landmark. Usually it'll pop up and say you want to teleport to here or whatever. See, so this is a rental home, and I bet you they built it up in the sky. Yep, look at that. So they built a skybox, A, to keep down lag, but to make it a little private. And as per usual, with a lot of properties, you literally can click on this rental property here, pay it $50, click on it like that. So I could hit pay. I'm not going to actually pay it. And pay the $1.99 per week in whatever chunks I want, 3 or 4 weeks at a time. Okay, but now this one, for example, this one's $1.99 a week for 50 for 50 prims. That's kind of ridiculous. That's basically what, 800 per month. 800 lindens is, let's see, how much does that cost? I forget. Shouldn't be much. $3.54 for $5 a month. You would get a free 512 chunk of land or a premium home with twice as many prims. And also have a weekly stipend. You get a weekly chunk of money from Second Life for being a premium member. No, they're not bad homes. Don't get me wrong. It's not a bad deal. But for 50 prims a week, that's kind of. But look at this. It does come furnished, so you have couches and everything already set up. This is not a bad choice for someone who might want to doesn't want to build at all, or you know what I'm saying. So this is not a bad choice. I just saying if you're really needing some prims, you need to definitely shop around. I mean, you know, one of the disadvantages of the skybox is there literally are no neighbors. So who are you going to say hi to and stuff? Whenever I first built my first homes in Second Life, one of the best parts about Second Life were discovering my new neighbors. We're hanging out with them and stuff like that. It was a guy next to me with a boat, and he had long hair and leather on all the time. This is back before you could have like, you know, bad stuff right next to PG stuff. He was a real nice guy. He wasn't like a pervert, but he always ran around in leather, and his girlfriend would come over, and they were being leather. And they would take rides on the boat, and he'd be like waving at me, "Hey, Bo." This is back 8 years ago. In fact, let's look at my profile. I'm just curious real quick before I leave. When was it? It might be May. About May 26, 2004. So in 1 month, it will be 8 years that I've been with Second Life. So that's really, really cool. But anyway, that's a little bit about about owning land, renting land. You know, I would say, like I said, if you're just starting out, start with a premium account, get your little premium home, try it out. If you find yourself building so much that the premium home is not enough, drop the linden home. You can just abandon it. Go buy your first 512 chunk of land. Shop around though. Don't spend more than one linden dollar per square meter for your first chunk. It doesn't matter if it's on crappy mainland or whatever, because you can build a skybox, or you can build a cave or something that'll help you not see your annoying neighbors if they are in fact annoying. Sometimes they can be really cool. I would definitely not recommend putting down $300 and buying your first quarter sim and coming up with this big scheme. Not at first. Get comfortable first with a rental property or something smaller, and then slowly building that, because you'll end up burning yourself out if you do it too much too fast. It happens all the time. I've seen it happen to millions of people. The one reason I've always maintained some happiness in Second Life is because I've stayed realistic about my goals, and that's actually what has driven me to having the smallest chunk of land available and building with that small chunk. It's almost a challenge to build with that small amount of prims and land. It's really kind of fun. But anyway, so that's Second Life Wednesday for you. I'm off tomorrow. Yeah, I know. You like my animations there? I'm very deep in thought. That's I have actually several animations. And then, let's see, I got serious. Can't think. There's one where no, that's the deep in thought one, I guess. There's a lot of different ones. But anyway, let me give you my contact information. Everybody should know it, but if not, it is Beau@Massively. Let me change the camera around here a little bit so you can actually see what the heck that is. There we go. Beau@Massively.com. You can email me, tweet me, @Beau_Hindman. Twitter is my favorite because Twitter it's an instant conversation. It's real easy to go over. You could say, "Hey, Bo, how's it going? I suggest you look at this game or that game or whatever you want." So Twitter is fantastic. Definitely stick around tonight though, because we have some pretty cool stuff going on tonight. Right after me, or in about an hour after this, Mike's going to be playing Drakensing Online, which is a browser-based game which I really, really enjoyed before by Big Point. Then Adventure Mike is going to be doing EverQuest, classic EverQuest at 8 p.m. EDT. But tonight, Jeremy and MJ, starting at 9 p.m. EDT, are doing 2 hours of Vanguard. If you haven't seen Vanguard, or if you want to join us, everybody's meeting up in Renton Keep in Thestra, and we're just taking a walk. And we're just kind of exploring Vanguard for the next hour. He's going to be doing a lot of that. So, is this a texture? Actually, no. This is just just zoomed into the wall. like that. Bloop, bloop. But anyway, so that's Second Life Wednesday for you. Next Second Life Wednesday, I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing. I'll probably be doing some costuming or something fun or something crazy. Trying to maybe looking at meshes or something. So if you know any mesh players, people who use mesh a lot, tell them to contact me. I could do like a live interview or something. So but anyway, have a lot of fun, guys. Be careful. I'll see you back here Friday with what am I doing on Friday? Nodiatus, which is like a weird browser based. You just have to see it. But thanks, guys, for joining me. I'll see you. Have a good